All right, so I guess my first video on my VW bus. I'm insulating the doors, but this is the process that you would want to go through on insulating just about any panel on a VW bus or any old car here. So right now I already cleaned up the door. I'll switch around the camera and show you what I'm working with. So apparently I messed up my video and didn't really record what I was doing. But you can see this is the mat that I'm using. This is Be Quiet brand. I'll throw up a link in the description or something. But you can see I cleaned the inside of my door really well. You can see this is original paint and it's still shining. It was a little dusty, but you want it to be really clean to make sure that this stuff sticks. I also used my fiance's hair dryer thing, and I heated up the panel just a little bit so that way the adhesive really grabs. And really with this stuff, you only need to put it on about a third of the panel. But the next step is going to be insulating inside of the door panel. So I'm going to lay that down and show you what I'm working with there. Recently moved into a one-car garage. I'm not living in the garage though. I mean my stuff. So it's a little bit hectic and crammed. But here on my workbench you can see this material. It's aluminum backed and it has a fire resistant recycled insulation on the inside. And it does a really good job at absorbing and like all the echoes and tinniness of your voice inside the car, and it really helps with the heat. I'm using 3M trim adhesive. This stuff's not cheap, but it works really well, and you know it's going to hold up. Like I said, I showed you this material. This is what I'm going to be putting on here. I'm going to do a big chunk here. I'm going to do some here and a little bit down here with what I have left over in my scrap. Alright, now that I have all my little pieces cut out, did this on another door panel, so that's how I knew my dimensions that I wanted already. I'm going to take them off, spray the inside of my panel with the adhesive, and then spray the inside of these with adhesive as well. Let it tack up and put it down, and then we'll go from there. Alright, after we spray the adhesive, we want to let it tack up, like I said. So I'm not going to set it on as soon as I've sprayed it. Most of my design hinged around this one piece fitting in here. So I'm going to make sure that it does its job. And this stuff just wants to stick immediately, so you do got to be a little bit careful about setting it down the first time the right way. Just press it in real good. Ensures all the glue sticks together. Alright, now we have a insulated door panel. Just provides a little bit of extra insulation there. But because it is inside of the door, and inside of the door does get moisture, even though we're going to put in a moisture barrier, and I'll show you that after this. where I'm going to tape these seams with aluminum tape just to help keep the moisture out of that cotton material, because you don't want it to collect mildew or anything like that. Looks like this. Has a backing you have to peel off, which is kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm going to tape it down and show you the finished product. Alright, so I just finished up taping all my seams. See, all the way around. It's pretty good. Now I'm going to show you how to make a plastic panel that goes in here to keep the water out when it rains and everything. Otherwise, you know, some buses will leak right in here, get a bunch of water spilling in here, and sometimes it'll pour out down here as well. And a lot of those are missing, this one including. You can see where it was glued from the factory, but this bus doesn't have it, so I'm going to make one real quick. So using the adhesive that I used on the inside of the door panel, I'm going to spray just a real light bit because I don't need much to stick the plastic to. I'm going to leave a little bit of extra here so that way I have room for the speaker to go in there, and have to poke a hole for the speaker wiring. Got to keep that in mind. I might actually add some glue in some areas where it wasn't before, in hopes that I can get the water to drain out where I want it to go. I'm going to show you the plastic that I'm using here is an automotive masking plastic. It's really, really thin. It doesn't need to be much. You could use a trash bag even. A lot of people use painter's tarps. This is really just serving a very small purpose of keeping the moisture inside of the door, so that way it runs out the drain holes where it's supposed to go. Some people might say, oh, that's not the right stuff, it's not factory. It doesn't matter. Really, this has one small purpose, so this automotive masking plastic is going to work just fine. Okay, now this stuff just pulls out like this. It's supposed to be 5 feet wide. Okay, now I'm here. You can see I have it all on, pressed in place. I got a little slack in here for my stereo, my speaker. So I'm gonna start trimming it up with my razor blade. I'm just gonna go around the edges like this. Okay, here I am. I got it all finished up. You can see it looks a lot cleaner now that it's cut. I have to cut out a hole for the door handle, and you got to cut out a small hole for the window crank. I used to fight with these door panels all the time, and I find the best way to do it is just to start on the top and make sure that it lines up with everything else. It sounds real solid. This is all insulated too, nice and solid. Here we go. Slam solid, doesn't ring. Sounds good, looks good. That's a wrap. Insulating your door. You can use those principles to insulate just about any panel on your car and enjoy the benefits.